Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This week I felt like I want to work on the sound of my setup, and I thought that it might be a good idea to bring you along with me while I do it. So grab your guitars, set up your gear, and let's go play. One of the things that I want to discuss is the difference between sound and tone. Because a lot of people talk about chasing a tone, and to me it's more like you're chasing the sound. You're looking for a specific sound. Because when it comes to tone, I'm a big proponent of it's 95% in your fingers. This is what creates the tone. Think of it this way. If Carlos Santana was to get a hold of your guitar and your setup, he would still sound like Carlos Santana. The Carlos Santana tone. As a different musician, we want to find that sound. And that's what this is going to be about. Finding your sound. So let's start with the guitar itself. First off, turn your volume all the way down. Take your tone, put it at the halfway point. And that's going to be a general rule of thumb with any of the gear and pedals that you use. Start at 12 o'clock on that dial. You can always tweak it one way or the other. When it comes to the tone, you don't want it to be too muted or too crisp to begin with. Also going to come into play is which pickup selection you use. Now, to break that rule right off the bat, take your volume knob, turn it all the way up. That way, once everything is set up, everything you need to do is right here within your hands. Everything else will already be set up. So you can make the adjustments you need just with a flick of a switch. I have everything set up in such a way that all the power supplies for the pedals and the amp itself are manipulated by just one power button from a power strip. As you can see, everything pops on with just one push of a button. Now, since I'm starting from scratch, I'm going to go ahead and shut off all the pedals so that it's just a clean, raw sound going directly to the amp. Now, in my particular case, I cannot turn off my Volumizer and wah, and there's no real power off button for the looper station. So, luckily, those really don't affect what's going to come out of the amp, with the exception of the pedal, because if you don't have it towed down all the way, you won't have the maximum volume. Not all amps are created the same, as I found out when I first rebooted my guitar journey. I originally had a Vox that didn't have a lot of options with it, and it really wasn't good for high gain. It had a good sound, but it wasn't the sound that I was looking for, which is when I went shopping for this Roland Microcube. It takes up very little space, packs a big punch, as you've heard in my previous videos. And I generally don't have the knobs that wide open and it's still a very pleasing sound for me. So let's take a look at the knobs. What we have here is our gain, which is everybody's good buddy. You know, either have it a little lower, a little higher. The basic volume that's going to come out of your guitar and into the amp. Then we have the tone knob, which is going to make it a little darker and muted, or a little brighter, depending on what you're looking for. And then we have the really important one, the master volume. The master volume is what's going to keep it from blowing out the walls, annoying anybody else in the house, and particularly annoying your neighbors. So I generally keep that one at about 9 o'clock. Then if you look here, we have the amp type, which gives us, let's see, it starts off with an acoustic amp model. If you bump it up a notch, the gain increases. Big jump there. Bigger jump. And it just keeps going. I generally keep it down here in the acoustic section, which keeps things relatively clean. Then we have the effects side of it, which will increase the chorus. A flanger, but I have a flanger pedal. Phaser, which is a beautiful sound. I need to get one of these pedals at some point. And then that leads into a tremolo sound. Now, for my amp, I really don't need that because I have my pedals, and I like my pedals. Over here we have the delay and reverb. Starts off with the delay, which you can increase. Then it's got a reverb section, which will make it a bigger sound. And mine has a built-in tuner. Now we'll take a look at the gain button and see how we can adjust things to make it a little more pleasing while still having some punch to it. And bear in mind that there's going to be gain buttons on the effects pedals. So that's probably a little too much because what we're looking for right now is our clean sound. Right, too little. Let's bring it back up a little bit, so about 10 o'clock. And then I can adjust the tone from the guitar. and find something I like. Let's look at the volume going into the amp. Too little, let's bring it up. Now let's look at the amp tone versus the guitar tone. That's pretty sharp and close, but I kind of like that. And while you're at it, be sure to play with your pickup selections. And make sure that everything is pleasing from that side. And lastly, adjust the master volume. So we'll drop the master back a bit. And I think we have a good start there. Now, let's take a moment to discuss pedal order, because that's important, at least to you. The way I have it set up is pretty much the standard way that you would set up pedals. I have my adjustment right here. Then I have the compressor, an overdrive, and a distortion that goes into a noise killer, a modulation, the flanger, a modulation, the chorus, and then modulation time devices such as the delay and the reverb. And the reason you want set up, it's all dependent upon you, how you want it, but think of it this way. Do you want delayed overdrive, or do you want overdriven delay? Do you want distorted chorus, or do you want chorused distorted? It all depends on you, but this is a good place to start. So the first in line of my pedals is the wah volumizer. Right now it's set in volume mode, which if you heel it back, cuts the volume. If you tow it forward, increases the volume. Which will give you those wonderful volume swells. And if you don't have one of these pedals, it's easy enough to achieve just by rolling the palm of your hand across the volume knob. But honestly, I much prefer the pedal. And being a 2-in-1, this is also a wah pedal, so if I activate it by pressing all the way down on the toe so that the light turns red, it becomes a tone knob for the most part. Called a wah because of that wah sound that it makes. So we'll put that back in volume mode and move on to the next pedal. Now we're going to start off with the compression pedal, which is one of those pedals that you don't know you need until you hear what one can do. First off, with any pedal that has a level or volume knob on it, like I said, you want to start off in the 12 o'clock position. So that you can adjust it, and you literally want anything that when you press the pedal on is going to match what the dry guitar sounds like. So when you put it on, that's a little louder. So you want to drop the volume down to match. Now, this one comes with a toggle switch, which will determine how much it's cut. I prefer it in the down position, which increases the treble. Now let's look at the tone knob on it. And what the compression pedal does is it raises the volume of anything light you're playing to match anything that you're attacking heavily. So with that one, I kind of want to ease back. Because I want it to do its job, but I want it to make the optimum sound for what I'm looking for. And I think that is just about where I want it. Too sharp. Let's draw it back a little bit. And I'm pretty happy with that one. Now, here we have our standard overdrive pedal. And what that does is gives it a little bit more of a raunchy boost to it. As you can see, I've got everything set in the 12 o'clock position. It comes with a level, which is your volume. Comes with a tone. It has a hot and a warm setting on the toggle switch. And it's got your gain. Personally, I prefer this one in the hot. And I'll show you why. Here's hot. And here's warm. So I prefer more of the clean sound out of it. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this level and we're going to drop it down a bit because we're going to try and match it to the raw guitar. That is about right. Now, let's take a look at the tone on it. All the way to the left. It's kind of on the muddy muted side. All the way on the left, or on the right. Really sharp. So, we'll get that at the halfway. Let's put it just a little bit past. Okay, it's about where I want it tone-wise. Now let's check out the gain, because a little goes a long way. And let's try about 2 o'clock. Let's give it a little more sharpness. And a little less gain. A little darker. And that sounds about where I want it. Works for me. Next up, we have my favorite distortion pedal. It's going to make things even raunchier. It also comes with a level. It's got a hyper and classic mode in the toggle, and it's got a tone knob as well as more gain. So first thing we're going to do, and this thing's going to be off the charts, so we're going to start off by putting the level down so that we can match the guitar to it. And I'm sure you can hear it. There's this hum of feedback, which that's what the noise killer is going to take care of. But let's see. Let's go into hyper. And that's pretty gnarly. And then let's adjust the gain a little bit. Let's go to the tone. See what we get over here. No, not what I want. So let's take it back over here. Adjust the level, increase the gain. And for me, that's where I want that one. Which brings us to the noise killer. The noise killer is the one that is going to rein in the harsh sounds and any of that idle buzz that you hear from the guitar when you have a distortion pedal on, where if you have it on, you can kind of hear this little hum. So when you turn on the noise killer, it's going to rein that in. It's the captain of those pedals. So let's start off with the overdrive on with the noise killer. And as you can see, it's got the hard and the soft killing on it. So hard means it won't tolerate a lot. Soft means it will tolerate a little more. So sometimes when you want that buzz, it'll be there. Hear how the soft rings out a little more as opposed to the hard, which at one point it just says, all right, enough. So I think soft is probably going to be the way to go. Now let's turn off the overdrive and put on the distortion and see what's going on. There it is in soft. Lets it ring out. Now you hear how there's still that kind of electric buzz there? That's what this knob's going to be for. So I like things to ring out a little more, so I'm going to keep it in soft, and then we'll adjust this button to see what's going to happen. See how it's dropping it out? And this is fully what it's capable of. Versus anything that's just gonna knock it right out. So with this one, a little bit goes a long way. So probably about 12, maybe 11 o'clock. Yeah, somewhere about in between. And with that, I think we have that one rectified right off the bat.